on June 18th at 1 p.m. I'll also be getting married. Well, that's Usha. Please stay with Jenny. My sister sneered at me. The date and even the start time coincide with my wedding. What is happening, I see. So your wedding is only for relatives, correct? Fewer than 100 people. So depressing. We're inviting all of our friends, family, and co-workers. It will be a lavish occasion. I wanted to say, do whatever you want. But I refrained and said something else. I'm Katie, a 30-year-old office worker. Sam and I recently had our marriage legally registered. Sam is 3 years my senior. We met for our usual coffee. We struck up a conversation as we kept running into each other there, and we discovered that we both enjoy reading. We decided to get married after 2 years of dating. My husband, Sam, is a devout and kind man who works for a food-related company. Our wedding is a month from now. The only thing left to do now that the big day is approaching is to prepare. Several of my friends are getting married in grand, extravagant ceremonies in front of a large crowd. We chose a simple ceremony attended only by our relatives. This is because I do not want to introduce Jenny and my parents to my friends and co-workers. My parents have always favored my sister Jenny over me since I was a child. Jenny and I are 3 years apart in age. Jenny has a very attractive face, even as her older sister. She has long eyelashes and large, sparkling eyes. She has a petite face and fair, transparent skin, resembling a fashion model. She has been scouted by talent agencies on several occasions, and she even did some modeling while a student. So she's somewhat of a local celebrity. She made my parents proud and happy. Why does Katie have such a plain expression when Jenny is so adorable? This is how my mother used to describe my appearance. My father used to say that looking at Katie's plain face always dampened my mood. My parents used to criticize and compare me to my sisters. Furthermore, they would only lavishly celebrate Jenny's birthdays and take her out on weekends. They were always favoring her over me in their day-to-day interactions. Jenny knew she was our parents' favorite child. As a result, she developed a negative attitude toward me. In the same way, our parents were forgiving of Jenny, but harsh on me. For example, why do you only get mediocre test results? My parents used to chastise me in this manner when I received mediocre grades. On the other hand, they would politely tell Jenny that she could do better next time. When she received poor grades, my parents' attitudes toward Jenny and me changed dramatically. Katie and Jenny are sisters, but they do not look alike at all. My father frequently remarked that I never intended to become Katie's mother. It wasn't uncommon to hear such critical remarks every day. I didn't want to be born into that family either. I used to speak back to my parents in my heart. If they mistreated me because our parents gave her extra attention. Jenny grew to be a self-centered, diva-like individual. Her personality is the absolute worst. Despite her beautiful features, she says, "You don't resemble me at all." Jenny would say things like, "I'm so glad I'm not like you with your shabby face," on purpose to make fun of me. I didn't want to introduce my family to Sam or his parents because that is how my family operates. Even though I didn't go into great detail, Sam and his parents seemed to understand the situation. When I told them I wanted a small, intimate wedding, they honored my request. On the other hand, my parents suggested that we at least greet them after our marriage was finalized. They insisted on the two families getting together, which made me uncomfortable. I had to arrange a meeting between the two families. Jenny and my parents arrived on my side of the meeting that day. Sam's parents also joined in, and we all had dinner together. I was unable to relax because I was afraid my sister or parents would say something strange. Despite the fact that the purpose of this meeting was to plan our wedding, I was unable to enjoy the lavish dinner. My parents showed little interest in Sam. They would simply hum to signal the end of our conversations, regardless of whether we tried to discuss how we met or our future plans after marriage. But when it came time to introduce Jenny, my parents leaned forward and spoke nonstop. All they could do was compliment Jenny in front of Sam's parents. Sam's parents would quickly return the conversation to Jenny, even when they made a nice attempt to redirect it to me. But more importantly, "This is how Jenny looks," Jenny exclaimed in joy. "Oh, Mom and Dad, you're praising me too much," as she was overjoyed to be complimented in front of everyone. I understand there isn't much to say about Katie, but after my parents and Jenny had inappropriate conversations, Sam's parents, who had previously been grinning, were now wearing uncomfortable expressions. My parents and Jenny appeared satisfied after eating as much as they wanted and engaging in a one-sided conversation about Jenny. They did, however, leave quickly and appeared to be unhappy. Not even a congratulations on your marriage was offered. I was frustrated with Jenny and my parents, but I was also feeling lonely. Sam then dashed around to my side, wrapping a kid arm around my shoulders. Although I knew a little about your parents, I didn't expect it to be this bad. Katie, I understand you have had a difficult time over the years. It must have been extremely difficult for you all this time. My mother-in-law went on. Having you as our daughter-in-law makes us very happy. Please consider us to be your true parents moving forward, and don't be afraid to contact us for anything. Paul and Laura, I'm very grateful. Sam with his parents, good comments make me feel better. I thanked them. I then discussed the wedding with my in-laws. I'd like to keep it small to accommodate my parents and Jenny. I am also nervous about inviting friends. So, is it okay if we only have family attend the ceremony? Sam had already agreed when I told him about it. Naturally. That is all right. I was pleased to have my in-laws support my idea as well. We planned our wedding in this manner. With the wedding approaching, I received some unexpected news. Jenny is tying the knot. Come home soon. Her fiancé will arrive today. This was said abruptly by my father, who rarely calls, so I rushed to my parents' house. My parents, Jenny, and her fiancé were all present when I arrived. The fiancé's face reminded me of someone I'd seen before. Hello, Kate. Wow, I'm surprised you're Jenny's older sister. I'd never have guessed. Tommy, you are my sister's fiancé. I would be surprised too. Jenny's fiancé's name is Tommy Smith. He works for one of our business partners. Jenny mentioned your name, and I assumed it was the same as someone else's. I never imagined you were sisters. After all, you and Jenny do not look alike. He looked me up and down, laughing mockingly. He's like this at work too, always looking down at me. He seems to look down on me because I graduated from high school but did not attend university. You do not need to attend university. My parents told me to start working right after high school. I began working for my current company shortly after graduating from high school. Tommy appears to have graduated from a prestigious university and is the type of man who judges others solely on the basis of their academic achievements. A man like him will become family. I couldn't accept the fact that Tommy was Jenny's fiancé. The atmosphere was terrible, and I wanted to leave as soon as possible. Congratulations on the engagement. I'll be leaving now. I said only one thing and tried to leave, but Jenny said something unbelievable. We have decided to hold our wedding on the same day as yours. June 18th, starting at 1 p.m. Tommy continued. Unlike your wedding, ours will be a grand affair. They smirked at each other. Their statements shocked me and left my mind blank. I'd reserved the largest venue in the area. It's a large venue that can accommodate multiple couples' ceremonies in one day. Although I had considered a smaller venue for our small ceremony, my in-laws suggested this location, saying it would be ideal for our special day if Jenny wanted a large wedding. I can see why this venue could be a candidate. Given that it is a popular wedding day, it is understandable that the dates may overlap. Matching the time seems like nothing more than harassment. But now that you've gone stiff, are you even listening? Katie, are you all right? Faced with the two of them asking in a pretentious manner, I tried to remain as calm as possible. I took a deep breath and asked, what do you think about having your wedding on the same day and time as mine? Furthermore, how will mother, father, and relatives attend both weddings? My mother, father, and all of our relatives will attend our wedding. Jenny responded confidently. To be honest, I expected this even before being told. My parents have always taken Jenny's side right away. They began calling all of Jenny's relatives, asking them to attend her wedding. I have met our relatives several times over the years. I've heard that our parents have always lied to them, portraying me as a bad-tempered sister, and Jenny as sweet and cute. While the relatives are on Jenny's side this time. When they discovered that Jenny and I had married on the same day and time, they assumed that I, the sister with the bad personality, was harassing Jenny. Katie, you're acting so immature. I will be attending Jenny's wedding. The relatives said it one after the other. As a result, my parents and other relatives decided to attend Jenny's wedding. Well, it was to be expected that the shock was so intense that I was left speechless when I saw myself like this. My parents and Jenny had triumphant expressions on their faces, saying, "I understand. I'm going home now." I gave up arguing and sighed, even though I stated that I was leaving. No one came to see me off, despite the sound of my parents and Jenny's laughter behind the door. I left my parents' house after returning home. I apologized to Sam and his parents. I apologize. Even though I wanted a wedding with only family, my parents and relatives will be unable to attend. However, the three of them reassured me that they didn't mind at all. "We'll have fewer guests. We can give the food more life. Sure. Yes, Sam said this to cheer me up. Sam and his parents' kindness made me feel relieved. On the wedding day, Jenny's relatives gathered at the venue. "Oh, is that Katie?" It's inconsiderate to have a wedding on the same day as Jenny. And, as always, she looks so plain next to Jenny. When we passed each other in the lobby, they would whisper negative things about me. Today, I'll have a wonderful ceremony with Sam. I decided to concentrate on my wedding and dismiss these negative thoughts during the reception following the ceremony. My husband's talented relatives performed one act after the other. As a result, the venue was filled with excitement and a positive atmosphere. When it occurred. "What's happening here?" my sister yelled angrily as she stormed into our venue with her husband and his parents. "Jenny? What is wrong?" I asked my sister after the reception, which was temporarily paused. Tommy's co-workers all announced at once that they would be unable to attend the wedding. "You must have done something, sister." My sister, visibly irritated, accused me. Apparently, all of my sister's husbands and co-workers had canceled on the wedding day, leaving a large number of empty seats at the venue. This is terrible. It's simply embarrassing. My parents were furious when they learned that the invited guests had canceled at the last minute. This reportedly created a tense atmosphere at their ceremony. My panicked sister was convinced that I had done something. Explain it to her in-laws, which is why her husband Tommy and his parents had barged into our venue. "Our wedding is a disaster, so why are you hosting such a fun reception? I can't stand it." "Jenny, please calm down." I tried to calm Jenny down, but she made even more outrageous claims. Everyone in Sam's family. "My sister Katie is the absolute worst. She's been harassing me since I was a child. Jenny, stop it, please." I tried to stop Jenny from ruining the reception, but her momentum continued. More importantly, observe Katie's expressionless face. "Don't you think the wedding dress looks terrible on her? Unlike me." She began saying these things in front of Sam's relatives. "Katie has always been envious of my cuteness and has harassed me. Can you believe this woman is becoming a member of your family? Don't you all find it unacceptable? She even told such blatant lies." Tommy joined in, matching her tone. "That's correct. Actually, I occasionally work with Katie, and she is an incompetent woman who cannot do her job. This is why high school graduates are worthless." He became overly critical of me. I apologize for the late introduction. I am Katie's sister's husband. Unlike Katie, I am a graduate of a prestigious university. The company president likes me, so I'm sure I'll be promoted in the future. He began boasting about his capabilities. However, when he saw my father-in-law Paul sitting among Sam's relatives, his face turned pale. His demeanor had shifted dramatically from the self-satisfied way he had been speaking just moments before, and he started trembling with fear. "Why is the president here?" Tommy inquired with trembling voice. "Because I am the groom's father. In other words, I am Katie's father-in-law." Tommy's eyes and mouth were wide open with surprise, according to Paul. "Yes, my father-in-law is the president of Jenny's husband's business. Prior to the ceremony, your reception venue was next to ours. I met a few of your guests in the lobby and learned that you and your wife were attempting to ruin my son's wedding." Tommy was frozen, realizing that the president had learned of his misdeeds. "Is it true that you purposefully coordinated the wedding date this time?" Paul inquired with a terrifyingly pleasant smile, appearing completely relaxed. Apparently, when Tommy's co-workers found out that the president was attending the wedding next door, they fled before the reception began. They were concerned that if the president found out, they would face consequences. "No, that is not correct, Mr. President. I knew nothing about this. My wife Jenny devised the entire plan. Tommy hastily began making excuses. Jenny was taken aback by her husband's unexpected shift in attitude. I'd never try to ruin their wedding. Katie is a valuable client's employee. Everything I said earlier was a joke. Tommy tried to retract his previous statements. Do not lie. However, it did not work for Paul. He shouted angrily at Tommy. I previously learned from employees that you frequently make statements that are negative toward Katie. That is not true. Tommy attempted to argue back, perhaps realizing he couldn't lie anymore. He fell silent. Please, listen here. Katie is a wonderful woman. She couldn't attend university due to family circumstances. But it doesn't matter. She's been working hard ever since she graduated from high school. Despite Shirley's childhood struggles, Paul spoke with Tommy. She did not let her surroundings feed her, and she grew into an upright, wonderful adult. Unlike you, who evaluates people based on their academic background. She is a lovely woman who can empathize with others. I couldn't stop crying because I was overjoyed that Paul thought so highly of me. Mr. President, I am deeply sorry for what happened. Tommy quickly apologized, attempting to convince the president to forgive him. You are apologizing to the wrong person. The person you should apologize to is not me. It's Katie. If you ever try to interfere with my son's and Katie's lives again, I will completely forgive you. Tommy answered in a trembling voice. Yes, sir. He then looked at me and apologized. Katie, I sincerely apologize. His appearance, cowering in fear before the president, began to look pitiful to me. I understand now. I accept your apologies. Please leave this venue. What's happening? Why are we considered the bad guys? Charlie, seemingly dissatisfied with his continued grumbling, complains. Shut up. I wish I had not married you. What? I wish I had not married a man like you. Jenny eventually started screaming, and the staff escorted them out of the venue. My parents were dumbfounded as they watched the entire exchange. They probably had no idea that the president of Tommy's company would be my father-in-law, and that they were the unwanted guests. My parents and Jenny's in-laws rushed out of the venue together. Although Jenny and the others unexpectedly barged in, we quickly resumed our enjoyable reception. The reception remained lively after the restart, and our wedding ceremony and reception were completed successfully. Paul, thank you very much for today. Your words meant so much to me. I expressed my appreciation to Paul. No, I apologize for the trouble my staff caused. Katie, you are a daughter-in-law that we are proud of. Thank you for marrying our son. If you have any problems in the future, please do not hesitate to consult with us. Following the wedding, Paul spoke to me with kindness. Tommy appeared to be afraid of being punished for this incident. However, because it was not a work-related matter, he was not fired or dismissed. Tommy had tried to flatter the president in the hopes of being promoted. However, after openly insulting me at the reception, he was no longer able to approach the president as he used to. He even thought he'd be promoted because the president liked him. However, this is no longer the case. He had also informed his colleagues that he was the president's favorite. Now, if he's being treated coldly by those around him and has become isolated within the company, Tommy had assumed he was close to the president, but he wasn't even informed of who his son was marrying, let alone invited to the wedding. In fact, he was not the president's favorite. Just one of many employees who are dissatisfied with their jobs and see no way to advance. Tommy blamed Jenny for the entire series of events. It's entirely your fault. He began making such statements and eventually became violent towards Jenny. They both blame one another. So their relationship has deteriorated. Furthermore, it turned into a family feud, with my parents suing Tommy and his parents suing Jenny following their extravagant wedding. Jenny and Tommy divorced quickly, and now they're both desperately trying to file lawsuits, each hiring lawyers with mounting costs. From wedding to lawsuit. Jenny, Tommy, and both sets of parents are reportedly living difficult lives. However, neither side is willing to back down, and both are stubborn. As a result, their conflict is likely to last much longer. Jenny moved back in with our parents after the divorce. However, our parents, who used to spoil her, are now treating her harshly, as if their previous indulgence was a lie. Jenny, you are a disgrace to our family. She returned home hoping to rely on our parents, but it appears they are pushing her away. Now she is desperately pleading with me for help, emphasizing how difficult and pitiful her situation is. It's entirely your fault that I'm in this situation, sis. Sometimes she calls in an angry, strong tone, and other times she calls sweetly and asks for assistance. Sister, please assist your poor little sister with hundreds of emails and missed calls each day. I'm fed up with it and recently blocked Jenny's phone number. It isn't just Jenny. Even our parents, who have always belittled and treated me coldly, have come to rely on me. It appears that our parents spent a lot of money on Jenny's wedding to show off. They also bombard me with calls and emails containing the same message. We need your help. We're experiencing financial difficulties. Naturally, I do not intend to respond to them. I ignored their emails and phone calls for so long because I was afraid they would come to my house one day. However, it appears that even the cost of their flight to this location is prohibitively expensive for them. They have not yet made a physical appearance. For some reason, Tommy's parents have been contacting me. We'd like to speak with your father-in-law directly. This is what their message is about. They continue to contact me despite the fact that we are strangers. And on a few occasions, they have even waited to surprise me in front of my home or place of work. I immediately reported this to the police. They've been appearing less frequently in front of me lately due to increased patrols. I, for one, am content with my happy life as a newlywed, surrounded by my adoring in-laws and my beloved husband Sam. There is no monster law situation to rumor about. Instead, my in-laws welcomed me with the warmth of a true daughter. My mother-in-law recently told me what Sam's favorite flavors are. We are all for food and desist, like the meals my mother-in-law and I prepare when we get together on weekends. So this is how good family lunches can be. Katie is finally happy to have the family harmony she had hoped for since she was a child. Do you want to cut off contact with a family right away? If your parents treated their children differently. A sister whose personality has been influenced by this treatment, or a brother-in-law who discriminates based on academic background.